What happens to all the feelings we carry while we care for others? What might your creativity know about your burnout that your words don't? In this asynchronous online workshop, we'll explore those questions through the lens of expressive arts therapy, using creativity as a way to pause, reflect, and process the emotional weight that often comes with caring for others. Whether you're entering practicum, working in a helping role, or holding space in your own way, this is a place to reconnect with your body, your creativity, and what's present for you beneath the surface. Hey, I'm Ericka. I'm a grad student currently completing my second year in the MCP Expressive Arts Therapy program at CIIS. Next semester, I'll begin my role as a therapist trainee through Elizabeth Hospice, working primarily with grief and bereavement, areas that feel deeply meaningful and that I know will ask me to stay close to my own practices of care and reflection. Beyond my professional and academic identities, I identify as second-generation Filipina American, queer, and I'm highly influenced by Buddhism and animism. I'm a sister, a daughter, and a partner. I'm an animal lover and a lifelong artist. I live on Kumye land, also known as San Diego, here in Southern California. I'm someone who's experienced my own loss, and I'm deeply influenced by the grief work that I'll be stepping into. This workshop was inspired by the people I love, many of whom are therapists, nurses, teachers, healthcare workers, or caregivers in some way, as well as my own experience working in helping professions, and of course by my cohort members who will be moving into practicum next term with me, beginning to do this deeply relational and emotional work. This workshop is for anyone who's holding space for others, professionally or personally, and wants to reconnect with themselves, their creativity, and their purpose. These next 20-ish minutes will serve as a space to learn and reflect on the emotional weight of helping work, whether that's showing up in a classroom, a therapy room, a hospital, a home, or just navigating the world with care. Even when this work feels deeply meaningful, it often carries emotional heaviness. We'll be exploring how expressive arts can help us hold that weight with more care and creativity. And you don't need to be an artist or have any special materials to participate. My goal here is to offer an introduction to a reflective, restorative creative process, something that you can adapt into your own personal or professional life, whether you're heading into practicum like I am or supporting others in a different capacity. My hope is that this space supports your reflection, your processing, and your capacity to connect with what keeps you grounded in this work. So I want to take some time and try to explain what EXA is before we jump in, especially for folks who might be new to what that term is. EXA, or Expressive Arts Therapy, simply put, is just a way of using creativity to connect to our internal world. It's not really about making something that looks good or having to be artistic, but rather instead focusing on the process of making art and what it brings us. This kind of creative processing space can be so vital for us folks in helping careers because it allows us a space to relieve stress, express our feelings, and connect to the parts of ourselves that aren't always accessible through words alone. I've looked into some research that backs up these ideas and kind of introduces this topic, so I'll share them with you here. Kathy Melchiotti talks about how the arts can help with trauma and stress by giving us ways to express things that might be stuck or hard to put into words. She explains that when we use images or movement or sound, we're helping our nervous system settle, and that's a big deal when we're constantly managing stress. Daniel Patrick builds on this by looking at how expressive arts can be combined with body-based approaches like somatic experiencing. He writes about how that combination helps people feel more balanced, more regulated, especially after overwhelm or burnout. Bruce Moon calls art making a kind of spiritual practice, not because it's about religion, but because it invites us to sit with the hard stuff and still find meaning or beauty. He reminds us that even when we can't fix something, we can witness it. We can honor what we're feeling through the process of creating. Bessel van der Kolk in The Body Keeps Score reminds us that trauma lives in the body, and so healing also has to happen through the body. Expressive art allows us to move, to feel, and to create in ways that reconnect us with ourselves. And this isn't just theoretical. Research shows that expressive arts really does support those in care professions. In a study by Reed et al., healthcare workers who participated in expressive arts sessions reported less burnout and more emotional resilience. They felt more connected to themselves and to the purpose behind their work. That's what brings us here today, restorative creativity. It's about giving ourselves back a piece of what we often so freely give away to others. It's about finding our center again. It's about reconnecting to what we love and what keeps us going, especially when things feel heavy. For today's workshop, we'll be engaging in an expressive arts therapy activity that I created called the collage poem. This practice blends image and word in a really simple but meaningful way, and it's meant to help us explore what we're carrying, emotionally, physically, professionally, and relationally. Especially in the roles that many of us take on as helpers and healers, this kind of space to reflect and create can be incredibly grounding. This exercise is meant to be really open-ended and can be adapted to whatever materials or modalities you have access to. You can use scissors and glue and magazines, or just a pen and a sheet of paper. You might want to collect things from nature or make your own collage on Canva. It could be a digital collage or something assembled loosely on a table without needing to paste anything down. For the purposes of my own demonstration, I'll be using images and text from old magazines. That's what felt most aligned with how I usually like to work, and it's something I've been able to find easily at thrift stores or local buy nothing groups. But this process is absolutely yours to shape in whatever way makes the most sense for you and your environment. So before we begin our arts practice, I like to just start with a little bit of breathing and mindfulness just to help us shift the energy in our mindset. So wherever you are, find a comfortable seat and we'll just take a few breaths together. Take a moment to get settled, maybe take a deep breath. Just notice where you're sitting or lying, no need to change anything. Just allow yourself to notice whatever it is that's already there. Notice your energy, your body, your breath. Notice your mood. This is the state you're entering the creative process with, and it's all welcome. Feel free to pause here and stay in this space as long as you need, and when you're ready, we'll begin. So now we're going to move into the main expressive arts activity for this workshop, what I call the collage poem. We'll start by collecting images, words, sounds, or textures, whatever speaks to you. These might come from magazines, newspapers, online platforms, or your own handwriting and sketches. Don't worry too much about the meaning or making something that looks a certain way. Just notice what stands out. Let your body and instincts guide you. This is your space to explore visually, emotionally, or symbolically, whatever feels present for you right now. It can be completely open-ended. You might already have something in mind, or you might just want to see what comes up throughout the process. And if you're someone who likes a little more direction, I'm going to offer a few gentle prompts to work with. The first being, what do you carry? The visible and invisible weight you hold, whether it be emotions, your roles, stories. Next is the parts of you that get left behind. What parts of yourself get quiet while you're caring for others? The next one is your why. What brought you to this work and what keeps you here? Then we have what healing looks like for you. Not for others, but for you. What does it feel like? And lastly, boundaries and burnout. What drains you and what might help you return to yourself? Pause here if you'd like to take a longer look and sit with any of these suggested prompts. After collecting our images and different fragments of our collage, we'll begin to arrange the pieces. The format is entirely up to you. This part of the process is about externalizing something that's been held internally. It could be an emotion, a thought, an image, or just a feeling. And you don't need to label it, let the process guide the product. Take your time here and pause if needed. Once we've sat with our collage for a bit, Spend a few moments just sitting with what you've created. Notice what catches your attention, what stands out to you. Are there pieces that surprise you? Are there pieces that are quieter or louder than other parts? Pause here if needed for reflection. From there, we'll begin a gentle writing practice I call word flow. This is not a formal poem. You're not editing or organizing your thoughts or worrying about how it sounds. This is just a stream of words, phrases, associations, metaphors, or memories that come up as you engage with your collage. You might write directly on the collage, or you might use a separate piece of paper or a notebook. Let the language move however it wants to. You might find yourself writing in fragments. You might repeat the same word over and over. You might drift into story. Just try to follow it. Eventually, what you've written becomes its own kind of poem. Together with the collage, this becomes your collage poem. This kind of multimodal practice, blending visual and written arts, is supported by the expressive arts research that I mentioned earlier as a method that strengthens emotional access and creative flexibility. Malchiodi notes that when we combine modes of expression, we're engaging with multiple areas of the brain and inviting deeper emotional insight. Patrick 2021 also emphasizes how this layering of modalities enhances regulation by allowing people to process stress responses with greater fluidity and less cognitive overwhelm. And if you'd like to take your reflection even deeper, here are a few optional journaling prompts that you can explore. First, what did I notice while I was making my collage poem? Were there any moments of resistance, ease, or surprise? How do the words and images I chose reflect where I am in my work or my life? What might this collage poem be telling me that I hadn't yet named? This part is completely yours to move through or come back later. Absolutely no rush. Feel free to pause and reflect. To close our time together, I'll guide you through a brief body scan. This is just a way of coming back into the present moment, into your body, and gently integrating everything we've just explored together. To start, find a position that feels comfortable for you. You might want to sit or lie down, and you can close your eyes if that feels okay. Start by bringing attention to the top of your head and slowly scan downwards. Notice your forehead, notice your jaw, your neck, your shoulders, and your arms. Pay attention to your chest, your belly, moving into your hips, down to your legs, and lastly noticing what we feel in our feet. As you bring awareness to each area, just notice what's there. No need to fix anything, no need to name anything. Just let yourself be here for a moment. Let this be a moment of quiet, a moment to feel your own presence again. Practices like this, connecting creative reflection with gentle embodiment, help ground the nervous system and support emotional regulation, especially for those of us in care-based roles. Bessel van der Kolk reminds us that healing happens not just through thinking, but through our bodies as well, and that creativity, movement, and presence all play a part in that. Well, that is all from me for today, friends. Thank you so much for watching my video and my workshop. I really enjoyed making it for you, so I really hope that you got to receive something from it. I'll leave my discussion questions in my Canvas post or in the video description, and if you have any comments or questions yourself, I look forward to hearing them. Thank you, and bye.